What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing a much needed update on my second gen. I have documented this truck from end to end after I bought it, and today we are going to be doing a full walk around video showing you guys everything new on the truck, everything I've done to this. This is my absolute dream truck. Let's dive into this thing. So you guys have followed the channel long enough, you remember when I picked this truck up. I picked it up with 54,000 miles from the original owner out in Lake Havasu, Arizona. The thing was absolutely immaculate, spotless, garage kept, and the perfect starting point for basically my dream second gen. I've fallen in love with these trucks since I was a little kid, and doing this one is something that has just been on a bucket list since I was probably 10, 12 years old. So it feels absolutely surreal to have finally found the perfect truck. That said, these things are old, so out of the gate, I definitely had to start making some upgrades. The first thing, of course, being me, I turned to was suspension. Now, Carli actually used this truck for tuning all of their second gen systems because they just did a revalve and redesign in all of their second gen suspension systems. So I kind of got a unique opportunity to actually drive and experience all of the different systems that they offer on this truck. Originally, I started with a pin top, but when they were tuning the new Backcountry system on this truck, I absolutely fell in love with how soft and smooth that setup is. Out of everything I've ever felt on the market for second gens, nothing touches what the Carli Backcountry system does on these trucks. It uses a fully custom valve, 2-inch diameter reservoir shock front and rear, and then I combine that with Carli's second gen specific front coils, Carli's control arms, Carli's rear leaf spring packs, and then also a Thuren track bar and Thuren sway bar. This is kind of the magical combination for second gens if you're looking for the smoothest possible daily drive feel. If you're towing heavy, if you plan on doing a little more off-road, that's where the pin top system with the King 2.5 shocks comes into play. I love that setup, it's really nice, but the Backcountry just offers a little bit softer feel on small chatter, freeway, stuff like that, and that's realistically more of what I'm driving in this truck. Wheel and tire is also the next thing you will notice on this thing. These are a set of old school Walker Evans wheels. I actually had a very hard time tracking these down, but these are actual true period correct Walker Evans wheels. These are polished and then clear coated with a gloss clear for longevity, and then they have the removable rings and hardware on them. These are just the lines on these wheels, everything about them just fits these second gens perfectly, and this is the 0 offset spec, so you just get a little bit of poke, works perfectly with the 35, 12.5, 17 NATO Ridge grapplers. These look big enough for the truck, but I'm not trying to cut it for 37s. It's just a really nice kind of like aggressive yet classy yet period correct stance on the truck. Now, while we're under the truck, let's talk about steering. This truck has actually quite a few steering upgrades on it. First, I've got what I mentioned before was a Thuren front track bar. Hands down, if you own a second gen and you don't have a Thuren track bar on there, throw one on. It is by far the nicest track bar on the market for the second gen platform. Completely redesigns the geometry of the track bar and really cleans up the front end tightness and steering feel on the truck. Next up, I've got Synergy's HD T-style steering. This basically moves you from the factory Y style to the T-style steering. This is going to really improve steering feel in the truck. You lose that weird toe angle change you get with the Y angle steering, and you're also not having the issues of axle width that you get trying to swap on Mopar 08 Plus T steering. Since this is a 99/24 valve truck, I have the narrow axle. I need that proper Synergy steering. This one's actually designed, and they have specific models for the 94 to 98 trucks, 99, and then the 2000 to 2002 trucks. Totally separate linkage, different lengths, different joints, everything else. So definitely the nicest setup on the market. I've also got a PSC box, PSC pump, Bad Axe steering box brace that's not shown in this video, but just went on after the PSC box went on. And then for now, I'm running factory ball joints. EMFs are going to be going in once these die, but for now, they're still hanging on. It's all running. Next up on the truck was power, and I've documented the power build on this truck in 2 separate videos, actually 3 separate videos. But basically what this is going to consist of is a stage 2 transmission from Tier 1. Tier 1 out in Arizona did an amazing job building a stage 2 transmission for this truck. That's rated for around 500 horsepower, absolutely holds up to everything else I have on the truck, and really is a dramatic improvement over stock. Just puts the power down, gives me way more control. Towing, it actually locks up the torque converter. Like if you have a second gen and it's an automatic, you're probably looking at built transmissions. I'm very happy with what is in this truck. Night and day. Again, I did a whole video on that, so you might want to check that out. In terms of the rest of the power build on this truck, it's running quite a host of parts and it's sitting somewhere in the 500-ish power range. I have not actually dynoed the truck, but that is my best guess based on other trucks running similar setups. So the recipe is going to be an Edge Comp tuner. This is their new Edge Comp updated tuner. This alone was a huge change on the truck. So just doing that was like a dramatic reduction in the 0 to 60 time. I did a video running stock, just the Edge, and then with the extra upgrades, extra hard parts on it, but that Edge alone was a huge change. In terms of hard parts, we're running a Fenley 606712 turbo. We're also running Flux Mach 4 injectors. And then I've got ARP 625 head studs, push rods, valve springs. Then I've also got a fast lift pump, which is an absolute must on VP44 trucks. Again, I have a whole standalone video on that, but since this is a 24 valve, hands down, that fast lift pump is a mandatory upgrade to keep the VP44 happy and get adequate fuel to the front of the truck. On the air management side of things, I also have a Banks intake horn. Really, the Banks intake horn just looks cool, but the intake makes a huge improvement in sound. Sounds awesome. And then speaking of sound, this truck has a Jamo 4-inch turboback stainless exhaust system with probably one of my favorite changes on the truck, which is a Thunder muzzle muffler from Glory Days Speed Shop. Now this Thunder muzzle is unique in that it actually is able to convert from a true straight pipe, as in like a straight pipe that goes all the way through the muffler, and at the turn of a switch, that straight pipe section rotates and you have a muffler that's actually, in my experience on this truck, quieter than stock. You have a second gen, you're towing with it, anything like that, highly recommend one of these mufflers. Now, one of the final things I did this truck, and actually one of my favorite changes that's ever happened on this truck, is that I dropped it off at American Wrap Company in Camarillo, California, and had them do a complete paint correction and ceramic coating and PPF on the truck. So they're using an Expel 8mm film. This is a totally clear but self-healing wrap that covers every inch of the truck. This is a fully original truck, all original paint, all original everything, and I wanted to make sure that it stayed that way. So this film is actually a self-healing film. So let's say I'm in a parking garage and someone drags their purse along the whole side of the truck. Not only will the film protect the actual paint, but it will self-heal. So this is something that obviously, you know, you're only going to do for like the nicest trucks if you've repainted your truck or it's an all original truck. But I highly encourage anyone that has a truck like that and you want to keep it nice, absolutely 110% worth the investment and peace of mind. I don't have to worry about rock chips. I don't have to worry about scratches. If a brush, you know, a bush brushes against the side of the truck, no damage will happen. Outside of that, the final upgrade on the truck is the reverse lights and fog lights. So I worked with CJC Off-Road to design reverse light and fog light kits for these second gen trucks, both for sport bumper and non-sport bumpers. But again, just to offer a little more light. I didn't really want to change the lights on this truck a ton, but I did need a little more light for hooking up trailers. I did need a little more light up front for driving at night, and these make a huge change in that. So nice little way to kind of have an OEM feel, but add a little more functional light to the truck. That walks you through my dream second gen. This is basically a truck that I've wanted to build since I was a little kid, and it's been so cool to kind of slowly tick off everything on this truck and have it be exactly what I wanted. The interior is all stock. I still have the factory radio. Everything about it is just supposed to be basically OEM plus. Like I wanted this truck to look stock at first glance, but with a few upgrades, a few modern touches to basically make the drivability of the truck more in the modern era, right? It's got more power. I can keep up with traffic. I can tow whatever I need to tow. Rides better. It steers better, but it keeps everything about second gens that we all love, which is that nostalgic kind of old school look. You know, everything about the truck that should be old school is still there, but the underpinnings have been brought up to modern standards. I love this truck. I'm stoked with how it turned out, and I will continue to update you guys as I add more stuff to this truck. But thank you so much for watching. Any questions, let me know down below. Hopefully this inspires some other cool second gen builds, because I feel like there's definitely a lot of people kind of pouring their hearts out into these trucks now. They're getting special, they're getting older, and it's really cool that people are appreciating them. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you on the next video.